Welcome to Sovereign Mamas, the podcast sanctuary for visionary women who are building lives, businesses, and legacies in alignment with their feminine power. I'm your host, Julia Jerg, intuitive business coach, mama of two, and systems strategist for solo-led entrepreneurs. Here, we honor both your sacred role as a mama and your wild vision as a changemaker. Expect soul-aligned strategy, raw storytelling, behind the scenes, and powerful conversations that support you in scaling your business without sacrifice. If you're done choosing between success and sovereignty, you're home. Let's begin. All right, welcome to another episode on the Sovereign Mamas podcast. This is your time to breathe, relax, and sit back and simply tune into some of the most mind-blowing stories out there where women take a chance and pivot and do not settle for less than what they deserve to have and be. And so today I am with Merridith Gonzalez. I love the name, by the way. You have to tell me, this is Spanish background?
I'm married to a Cuban guy.
Cuban. Oh, nice.
And I met him when I was 18 years old. I'm now 50 plus. We've been together for 30, what I don't even know the math. We've been together for that long. My one and only. And so now we have two beautiful sons, 18 and 20. And yeah, life is good.
Oh, so beautiful. Welcome to the show. I'm so
Thank
excited to
you.
have you and can't wait to ask you all the questions.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. It's funny because like a lot of us moms, our life is changing and we're looking at social media and we're figuring out, who our people are, where we can find resources, who needs our resources. And I stumbled across you and I was so impressed. And
Oh,
I just reached out and I thought I need to get to know you better and I'd love to share my story as well.
sure. Yeah, I really do love the power of social media and how we can simply make new connections so easily, right? And then yeah. So let's dive in. You are right now, you told me that you are in the middle of creating something, but let's go a little bit back to the moment before you knew now entrepreneurship is something you want to tackle. It,
Yeah.
when you say you have older children and share a little bit before maybe children, how did your life look like and your perspective on motherhood before you had children?
Ooh, that's interesting. Well, it's funny because I feel like growing up, I just always thought I was going to be some CEO of a company. I was never going to get married and I didn't want to have kids and I was going to do it all. And like I said, then I quickly learned at 18, I met this love of my life who changed it all. So I was already, enrolled and going to college. And so I actually thought I was going to be a therapist. I thought I was either going to be a physical therapist or an occupational therapist. So I had gone to college and got my health science degree with the intentions of then getting my master's in something clinical. And life had its, mind of its own, and it was a beautiful journey. I ended up getting into medical, but it was more on the medical sales support marketing side. So I did not become a clinician, but instead, I kind of joke around sometimes. I say instead of being inside the clinic walls, I got to go in between them and in around them. And so for many years, I worked with patients with brain injury, spinal cord injury, orthopedics and prosthetics. So I really, really got to work with people hands-on without all the documentation. Sitting in the office, I got to come in and be the best part of it. So that was my life before kids, building that career. Then when I had kids, continuing, I was really lucky enough that I was able to not work for some time when they were really little. But then it was scary. It was scary to get back into the workforce because my career was at such a level before management, regional this, who was going to hire me after having babies and being out of the workforce? And I was lucky enough that I did find a really great opportunity, and I was with that company for almost 11 years. And then more pivots happen, right?
Mhm.
That's what happens to all of us is just when we think our world is going perfectly, our kids are now getting older, they're in high school, getting
Mhm.
ready for them to go to college. My career shifted, like many of us during COVID, where companies had to realign, and I was realigned. Um, yeah, so, with all that, it was actually a really hard time for me, and I feel like, I tell this story, and I oftentimes tell the story with this like shield and strength that I just picked myself back up and I did this and I got I'm a long-term care specialist, so I got my insurance license and I started doing more of like the planning financially for these families that I had been working with all these years, a brain injury, spinal cord injury, everything. Um, but to be honest with you, it wasn't that easy and it continues to not be that easy. It was a time in my life that really was pulled from under me and
Mhm.
I pivoted, but I don't know if I ever really mourned what I had lost. I was excited and I'm a go-getter and I was ready to move forward, but there's always something in us that's holding on to like your authentic self. Am I, you know, what do they call that when you feel like you're imposter, like imposter syndrome and everything,
Yeah.
so and it's so interesting because I really feel like we're at a time of our life where our work now needs to be meaningful. It has to be
Mhm.
impactful, and I have to have passion. I want to do it. And so all this kind of came all in the same time, all bundled up in one big gift for me, you know. And then you throw in menopause. So, it
Wow.
all is going. And your kids leaving for college all at the same time.
Wow. There's a lot to navigate, and I
Yeah.
totally hear you and know that sometimes we think, and I think that's one of the biggest challenges and lessons in life, maybe also to really accept and surrender to the seasons in life. And
Yeah.
I love yoga meditation, and so one thing that always makes so much sense for me or to me when I hear that sentence that says, like, be grateful for what you have or had, but then
Yeah.
also with no attachment and just look forward. Because this is essentially, and you can apply this to everything, right? A great career, motherhood when they were little, the relationship, your health, your wealth, like nothing is forever. But yeah, it is really challenging. It is something.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and I've really been learning that, I'm not alone. I think that when we were, going to school and girls and then women building this career, we the only people that we saw ahead of us were, I think, more women that were following men's footsteps. And so that's what we thought. We thought we needed to follow those same footsteps in order for us to be successful. And what I'm learning is that we have our own path.
mhm,
Women, we're just coming into our voices. Our voices have been here, but I really think this is really the time.
mhm,
We're coming into our own voices. We're yelling out loud. I know, this has been done for many years a certain way, but we're ready to build our own path and do it differently because it was interesting. I was talking to someone earlier today because I do a lot of collaboration. I do a lot of connection with people, um, referral type, connections with people that just need good resources. And, we were just talking about that. I feel like women are really about collaboration.
mhm,
And one woman even said that was her word for 2025 was collaboration. And the more that women collaborate, we're finding that we're not competing against each other. We're really supporting and embracing one another. And I love it because when I meet people that think that way, I
mm.
know they're my people. It's building a village, it's building a tribe, whatever way you want to do it. And it's It's within community that women have
Yeah.
always thrived, and we are ready to get
Yes.
back to
Yeah.
community.
And this is 100% what the Sovereign Mamas is all about. This is why I created this, because I felt so many years that I have these same conversations with some women that say, I did the thing, I had the building of an empire, but I do not want an empire because it's lonely up there. And it's like, it just means that I have to hustle for it and that I have to do it in a certain way that gets me there, that isn't sustainable and that isn't feminine and that isn't aligning with my values and what I want. And more this word came up, collaboration, village. And I was like, there's gotta be another way. Like this has to change. We are
Yeah,
not here to sacrifice time with our children so that we can, fulfill our passion and purpose. And yet we
yeah,
get to have an impact in this world because we're not just moms, right?
yeah,
And so there is a way, and there is this need for us to lead and show and shift that paradigm that it is possible to do both. You can do
yeah,
both, but in a different way, like with collaboration, with like it's really truly so um incredible. And I'm so honored and also so grateful that I listened to my nudge when it didn't make sense,
yeah,
and I was going through a lot of moving parts and navigated things in our life where a podcast didn't make sense at all. Like you would think
yeah,
you do that when everything is like quiet and you have like, what else can I add to my full plate? A podcast. All right. Because does take time and it
yeah,
is something that you need to like work until you see some sort of benefit from it. But I'm so grateful that I started it and that I have just trusted that this will amplify this message that is so close to my heart, that I want every woman out there who might not be at a level or who is in it but feels like overwhelmed and thinks there's only this or that. Yeah, I'm really grateful that I went for it. And I'm sure you feel the same about what you're doing right now. Share a little
yeah.
bit about your entrepreneurial projects.
Yeah, and it is scary, and you're so right. And I almost feel like I wish I would have met you 5 years ago when
Mm,
when I was, starting over, and redesigning, redeveloping myself or whatever, reinventing myself, because it's such a scary time, and you're so used to maybe some stability of, like, you're right, a
yeah.
corporation or a direction, and now you're literally thrown into, yeah, I have my strength and my skills and my talents, but there's so much more that needs to get done. You talk about a podcast, you know the editing, the digital, there's so many ways, the content creation, which may or may not be, somebody's strength, right? But you're
Mhm.
now a business owner. You've got to be the marketer, the accountant, and everything, in between. So you know that firsthand.
Mhm.
So that's the scary part, and it's trusting that whatever's calling you makes sense,
Mhm.
and knowing you're going to have those bad days, and I'm sure we all have them, where we sit there and go, what have I done?
Mm.
What am I doing? But I just know that I'm finding, and I have found, a purpose with supporting women navigating all the chaos in their life. We're in our 40s, we're 50s, and our 60s, and yet now there's a pivotal a time in our life. Number one, we've got our aging kids, like I alluded to. We have our growing kids, and then our aging parents now. So we're kind of the sandwich generation, which is a lot of the conversation I have with my clients is, you're in the sandwich. You've got your parents and you've got your kids, but yet who's taking care of you? You
Mm.
know? And so I really help women take a minute, breathe, and just understand, what clarity they need, what priorities are, what is top priority, and what do they need to, shelve, and then what connections. Because it's easy to say, oh, you need to do this financial plan, or you need to talk to this doctor, or you need to do this because whatever's going on in their life. But then what? So then I'm able to support them with really curated professionals that I have been meeting for 20 something years,
Mm.
people I know, people I trust. So that way the women that I work with are one connection away. And I make that really warm introduction for them. So that way the professional and the individual feel very, I don't know, supported throughout the process.
Wow.
So that's my business that I've created and am building. It's not, where I don't, I'm a, you say a mamapreneur. I love that in your, in all your stuff, it's mamapreneur. And it's funny because I also have met some women there that say they're multipreneurs
Oh,
because we are
yeah.
doing so much. It's not just the mom, it's the business, it's everything else. But I love that we've kind of given ourselves a little tagline for us. Um, but within all this, I was mentioning a little bit about menopause and my, challenges through all this. And I was going to doctors and trying to figure out who I need to talk to. And, the doctor, I'd gone to for, 10 years, I was experiencing frozen shoulder and tingling in my arms and my legs, and not the hot flashes, not the sleepless nights, the normal stuff that they say. So he's like, "Oh, it's not menopause. You're fine. Go to physical therapy, go to a rheumatologist." So I was getting sent everywhere until I realized that this was menopause and there was something I could do about it, and I didn't have to do it alone. So I had a friend of mine who's a nutritionist. I was talking to her about hormones and diet and exercise, all this stuff. And she was like, "I would love the opportunity to talk to women." And I said, "Great. I'm going to host this for you. I'm going to host it in my living room." This was January of 25. And we'll just see who comes. And then at least us women, we don't feel alone. So we did, and we got 30 women to show up.
Wow.
We needed this space. And what I thought was so fascinating is the conversations, the vulnerability, the openness that all these women wanted to be there and they needed this community. And afterward, they had said, a couple of women had said to me, "So what's next? What's next month's topic?" And I was like, "Oh, wait, hold on. I hadn't even thought about this." So that's where this came to be. So I have a group. It's called Mamas in Menopause.
Mhm.
I have a Facebook group. I'm building it to more. So it's yet to be seen what's coming from it. But every single month, the last Sunday of every month in my home, I'm in Los Angeles, we do it in community, an in-person community. We have a guest speaker. So someone who's knowledgeable on hormones, nutrition, fitness, whatever it might be, they are hosting this. I'm hosting this conversation for this women, and it's
Oh,
fantastic. And
wow.
along the way, I now have a business partner. So she and I are collaborating, so I don't have to do this alone. That was a
Wow.
big word, not doing things alone. And it's growing. It's growing into this beautiful community. So my growing business, my growing community, and juggling it all.
Wow. That's so powerful. And I love this. As a business coach, I love hearing these stories because this is exactly how, the demand or the offer falls into your lap. You do something
Yeah,
out of not money driven, but you do it out of passion because you see the need and you have something really that you want to be fixed and that you know is urgent, and then you act upon it, and then
yeah,
people ask you what's next. This is perfect. This is like so many people who are entrepreneurs are doing it the other way around. They're like, all right, I want to make money. So now what do I have to create in order for the people to buy from me? And this is always like, this is so wrong, right? And so
yeah,
I can totally see how this organically is already growing, how you are simply, just have to keep going, right? And
yeah, yeah.
it's gonna grow with you and with your,
And figure it out. And then
yeah.
obviously, like you're saying, collaborate with
Mhm.
the women that might be able to support me in some of the areas that may not be my skill set, or maybe
Yeah.
someone else has a better approach to it, or I can learn from it. So it's a learning process, it's a growing process, it's a scary process, and it's an amazing and fulfilling process, all wrapped up together.
Have you felt that um, it's done something also with you? Because I love the analogy that being an entrepreneur or growing a business is actually the most spiritual path you can walk.
Yeah,
Do you think?
yeah. I oftentimes I'm trying to allow myself to have grace because I think as a woman who was very successful in her career, I then go back to, okay, I'm not contributing maybe as I used to, but I'm contributing in a different way, and I have to give myself grace.
Mhm.
And I will be supported. I have a supportive family, I have supportive, of course, husband, everything, friends that sometimes you just have to trust in the process.
Mhm.
Um, And it is a scary place to be, but you're so right. And it's a calling, it is a mission, it's a passion.
Mhm.
And I think just with this stage of life, I think that a lot of women, even when they have really amazing careers, they are choosing to step away because it's not aligning with them anymore. Some of us women, it was taken from us,
Mhm.
but now we need to pivot and figure it out. So I think so many women are in so many different stages and places, but you're right, it's really coming to this place like I want to make sure that I am living every day with fulfillment and
Mhm.
that I'm not sacrificing the time with my kids, the time with my family. They've grown up too fast and we're watching this,
Yeah.
sending my kid to college. He just left on Thursday. My other son, he's he's still home, but he's college aged. And but you look back, sometimes you get those little memories on your phone and you
Yeah.
look their little tushies and you look at the little memories. And now you see I have two boys. So you see these young men and they've just become such amazing human beings. And I want to spend time with them. I don't want to focus only on work or what some other company wants me to do,
Yeah.
such
Oh,
a trend.
it gives me chills, and it's I love just the fact that there's more and more women who are just listening to that calling and who are really here to make an impact. And like you say, you might not be impacting or influencing so many people right now, but
Mhm.
right now you're impacting the right people and those who need you the most and those who will have the best, benefits from your work. And that ripples. I truly believe that, you know, if you are doing something that is so meaningful, and even if it always stayed in your small community and like locally, if you never took it to a global stage and run these online summits where the experts come and globally
Right.
everyone could be part of that, even if you stayed there, that is powerful. That is change, and this is worth doing it. But you
Yeah.
think about an online summit. I was just thinking this is a perfect topic to have and the concept, then to really take it to the next level.
Yeah. Well, you and I may need to talk further than this podcast. More conversations to come.
Sure, sure. And so this is this is the time of your life where you're really, yeah, navigating a lot of things. This is where you say collaboration is big.
Mm.
How are you, like how are you as maybe the woman and you as an individual feeling also, like I don't know if you want to talk about it, but also in a relationship with your partner. You've got
Mm.
through all these stages, and now you're the entrepreneur suddenly, and you have this different hat. And so, how is that?
Yeah. Yeah, how has that changed? It's interesting because I feel like, because I've been with my husband for so long, there's been times where I was maybe the more of the breadwinner, and then there are times that he was, and again, I was lucky enough, and we were fortunate enough collaboratively, my husband and I, to allow me to stay home and raise my kids.
Mhm.
I have plenty of friends of mine who could, but they decided not to. It wasn't for them. It was a decision that I made. I really wanted to be home and be with my kids and raise my kids.
Mhm.
So I chose that. But again, there's been so many shifts on he's up, I'm up. He's, whatever it happens to be in with maybe the career or the income.
Mhm.
And I think I'm just so lucky and fortunate that he's so supportive. And even when I have moments of doubt, even when I have moments of feeling like I could be doing more, he's right there by my side, giving me a pep talk, making sure. But again, I will say that it's not to say that as a woman and me personally that I haven't struggled with my own doubts, you know.
Mhm.
So and it's hard. It's hard to get through it. So for me, I'm very much a spiritual kind of person, and I do meditate, I do exercise, I surround myself with positive people.
Mhm.
And so anytime I start to feel like, it's not even like I'm not supportive, but I'm not supporting myself,
Mhm.
then I'm able to get that support from the people around me to
Mhm.
kick me into gear. So
Yeah,
that's been I've been just really, really fortunate to have that.
amazing,
It's not,
amazing. And I just recently found out like a new way of also structuring. Like when you're an entrepreneur, you have all the freedom, right? But you also have like this responsibility to use your time wisely. And I do believe, and it did that for me 100%, that motherhood sharpens you in a way that you have a new relationship with time when it comes to spend on your business, but also on yourself. And when I started becoming a single mama, even more so, I I did like find time as the most valuable resource. And yet, it in the beginning, it made me do things more like in the ways that I would have done before I had kids, like hustling, doing more of the things that I thought would lead then also to more. And now I'm really surprised in a good way that how less is more. How when you are focusing on really filling your cup first and really also scheduling time as if you have a date with yourself in your calendar each week where you say, this is my me day. And you have to make it a priority, just as you like meet other people. Like I made this happen to meet you, right? You made it happen to meet me. So we decided we are important, but then the one and only person that you're always with is the most important person. And sometimes this falls so short. And I'm sure you have
yeah,
this too when you work with your clients, when you see how they are struggling with or juggling with all these tasks. And then when is time to really have a me day and
yeah.
not worry and prioritize yourself.
It's interesting you say that because I feel, that's exactly, especially at the beginning, I almost felt like if I wasn't working on something toward the business, then it wasn't going to come to fruition. It's because, you think about this when you have a corporate job, you get paid for waking up in the morning, and now you don't. And so you feel, unless you're dedicating every single second that you can grab into calling someone, connecting with someone, building your business, doing some, and it's almost, it gets overwhelming, it gets suffocating.
Mhm.
And I think I finally have come to a place to realize, and I'm always really good with the calendar. I'm very good with structure, and I've always been good with making sure I exercise, things like that. the one thing I'm still really bad at, and I talked to my nutritionist friend, the one that helped me for that first thing, I don't take time to eat. That's my problem. Is, I get up, I get going, and this and that, and before you know it, I get a call or something, and I haven't even had breakfast. So 2 o'clock, and all of a sudden I'm like, I haven't even eaten anything. But besides eating, I really realized that um, you're so right. It's doing the right things and
Mhm.
almost every night just kind of looking at what does my agenda look like for tomorrow and blocking it out on my calendar and just making sure that like I'm being intense what's my word that just popped out of my brain
Intentional.
fog. Intentional. That was exactly the word I was looking at. Um, to what tomorrow is going to bring. So if it means outreach, if it means I'm going to do some new networking, if I'm going to give me a me day, my son was just home for college and my other son, they were all here. We took a couple of days in the middle of the week, we went camping.
Yeah,
And so all
nice.
my meetings, and actually it might have been when I was going to talk to you originally first, we were
Yeah,
scheduled to
yeah.
speak.
Hmm.
And I was like, this is important. I need to spend time with my family. And it was such a beautiful week. So I'm so glad I did it. But I love that you say that because I think for women, we're so used to juggling so much and it's just natural for us.
Hmm.
And there does come a time where we have to realize our kids are out of the house or even they're old enough. They
Hmm.
can do that themselves. I need to take care of me.
Yeah.
But it's a constant learning. I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it yet. I need to
Mm.
keep working. I need to keep working on time for me, for sure.
I do believe that this is something like one of the hardest things, especially as a mom, and it needs a constant reminder. It needs practice. It needs something that,
Yeah,
yeah, that's why it's so important to be also around women who are understanding this and who are reminding you that you hold you accountable. Like how else? Because it's so easy to get distracted and
yeah,
life is just busy. Yeah.
yeah. And I would definitely say I think with my business, that's the one thing I'm able to really help women understand. Because I think sometimes everything seems like urgent and everything is a priority. And I'm able to really listen to them and really understand from what they're sharing what exactly is top priority. What are things that can shelf for later?
Yeah.
And I think another time management support I can give to them is not needing to go search and Google. I always joke with people, I go, don't Google. If you need anything, if you need a resource for your aging parent, call me. I guarantee I know someone. If you
Oh,
need something for your kid, call me. I guarantee I know someone. Even for, menopause, anything. Just, so I love it because people do reach out to me and sometimes, you know, um, I have someone right on the top of my head. Oh yeah, great. Let me connect you with them. Sometimes I don't, but you know what I do is I always find somebody to
mm,
then support them. So I'm always one of those people, when you go to a store and they're like, oh no, we don't do that. I'm always like, okay, you don't do that, but where should I go? Like, there always should be somewhere to offer that next step and whatnot. So that's the kind of person I am. But so I
perfect.
love that I'm able to offer that for my mamas. And what I really love, or those are my clients, and then for my mamas and the mamas in menopause, what I love that I can offer is a space and a
Mhm.
community and somewhere where, I always tell people this is an investment in yourself. It's an investment of time. It's all we're asking. It's time for you
Mhm.
to take for yourself. And we've got the experts here. We have the community. And when women finally do take a minute and sign up and say yes and then show up, they're so happy that they did. They are just so thrilled with the experience that they've had.
Mhm.
So like I might have mentioned, we do the monthly educational. We've also curated some wellness days. We haven't quite done a summit, um, but we also offer, chats and speakers that, even can record a little bit and provide it for some of the mamas because everyone's digesting information in a different way
Yeah.
and everyone has only a certain amount of, I guess they show up for themselves differently, but they all also have so much time. So some
Mhm.
people may not have 3 hours on a Sunday, but they might have 20 minutes to jump on our Facebook page and to watch a recording.
Yeah,
So we're trying to provide this offering and community the best we possibly can to be
perfect.
supported. Yeah,
And maybe a podcast is also something that could be very
yeah,
good. I mean, you have such a soothing voice. I would definitely think that people would love hearing that. And the podcast format is just, that's why I said, yeah, it does make sense. Like for busy moms in whatever
hmm,
season they are, listening to something while you're cooking, while you're driving your kids to somewhere, it's
yeah,
just an easy thing to do. And that is, yeah, you're right. Everyone's digesting information differently. I love it. I love it.
yeah, yeah. And from different voices too. That's why I love it. It's not
Mm,
just me, Ozzy is my collaborative partner, and that's why we're bringing guest speakers all the time because everyone has such a different expertise and knowledge base. So instead of just hearing from me, hearing from Ozzy, the mamas are hearing from a handful of different people. So I love it. I'm having so much fun. It is the best time of my life. It is the scariest time of my life, but it is the best time of my life for sure.
And with this, I feel like you hit the nail on the head. If you find something that lights you up, it's worth doing it. And then
Yeah,
especially if it is something that also helps other people, right? But
yeah,
first and foremost, it has to like be something that you want to be doing, that you are passionate about, that you really wake up in the morning and think, all right, let's go again, because this is a
yeah,
long-term game, right? This is something that hopefully is going to be there for many, many years until you decide, oh no, it's not something that interests me
yeah,
anymore, and then it's okay too. Um,
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
that you found that for
yeah,
yourself. And
yeah. I love.
we will
Yeah.
definitely share all the links in the show notes so that they can find you, the women who want to know more, maybe in your area, maybe experts, may want to join your Facebook group. And yeah, any last words of like advice or yeah, tips you have for the listeners?
I don't know necessarily. I know one thing that just popped in my mind was that I feel like with my career, I used to be kind of that lion, you're kind of going after and you had something to prove, right? And I think I've learned, and it's funny because now with our AI, we can, you know, figure everything out of our, who we are and ask questions and whatnot. But I put a little search in and I said, okay, I'm not this lion anymore, and gave some parameters and prompts. Who am I? And what popped out was a honeybee. And I
Huh?
love that it gave the honeybee because it really told a story of who I am now. So, you know, we're busy, we're hard workers, we have this experience, we have this skill, we have this resilience, and it takes a village, it really does take teamwork. And one thing that I loved that it said was that you're doing something that is bigger than you even know that it is, right? And with this collaboration of
Yeah.
of individuals, people, whoever's in this, you are building something bigger because it's just such a, doing something alone can only get you so far.
Mm,
And when you do something as a unit, as a group, in collaboration, in tribe, in village, the sky's the limit. And so I guess I say that to just say that for all of the, individuals out there that are going through the same or maybe parallel journeys to me, where you had this career and something changed for you or you changed, um, don't be afraid of it
mm,
because there are really big things out there. And I just keep journaling. There's something big. I am doing something big and I'm ready for the challenge. I don't
mm,
know what I need to learn every day, but I'm learning something new every day so that
mhm,
I can keep up and be prepared and just keep on this journey of passion.
right.
So that's
Oh,
what I would, yeah.
So good. Yes, so good. That is with this message, I would love to end this episode because I do find this very profound and so brave also for you to just keep going and trusting. And I hope it inspires you as a listener. I hope you have maybe got this spark and say, yes, I may not see the outcome right now. It may feel small still. It may not have the bigness, but I can feel it, and that's enough. That's good enough to
Yeah,
keep going. Mm. All right.
thank you. I needed to hear that.
Can you hear it? Oh,
No,
you
I needed to
hear
hear you say that. Do you have stuff in your background?
Yeah, so I'm in Bali and it's 5:44 a.m. in the morning, and they're
Oh,
doing there's always in the villages there's these songs, like not songs, the holy man is now having the worships, and they have
mm,
speakers so that everyone can listen to it. So right
wow.
now they just turned on the speaker and a man is singing the prayers.
Wow.
Cannot hear
What the
it still
time?
does such a good job.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I'm so glad that you're able to live there and experience. Are you living there now full time
Yes,
or?
yeah, we moved there only a few months ago, and yeah, my kids just started school here. I found this really wonderful, like um, school. I don't know even how to put it in a nutshell, but it's like outdoors. It's called
Mm,
Empathy School, and all they focus on is on the children. And so yeah, yeah, we're just living the Bali life.
wow, that's amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Well, thank you for taking time to talk to me, to learn about me, and to let me share. And I think in a lot of ways too, just having these conversations is time for me too, because it helps me reassure that what I'm doing, I'm on the right path.
Yes, yes. These
Mm,
conversations are not only for the listeners, they're always also for us. Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm
agreed.
I'm very honored that you were here. I love your mission. So happy that I could be part of it and help you spread the word. And I'm sure there's a lot of women who listen to this that will reach out to you. And yeah, I can't wait to see what you're doing and what the bigness
Yeah.
becomes. So thank you
Yes, yes.
for this. And thanks everyone for being here, and I can not wait to share another story in the next episode. Thanks so much.